Sash and case windows are one of the oldest windows, especially in Scotland. Down in England you don't get as many, you do get a lot of sash and case windows because it's a bigger, far bigger country. But in proportion to houses in Scotland, the older houses, majority of them had sash and case windows. If you didn't have a sash and case window, you had a different type of window and it's called a casement window. And that's more like what we get, like your house windows at the moment, where you've got a window that opens like a door, or it opens like that. Now they're called casement windows, these are called sash and case. And a sash and case is, think about the name, what we've got is a sash. So a sash is a window, a window pane, that's the sash. So this bit here is called the sash, and that's the bottom sash, and that's the top sash. Quite easy to work that one out. But the side bits, if I can get this up, the side bits, this section here, is called the case. So you've got, so the basics of the window is three parts: bottom sash, top sash, case. Right? And we'll look at the case first. On the case, so basically before we even start, we've got three parts to the basics. And we can cut that down. The case is made up with different things as well. What we've got is a sill, this is called the sill piece. And the sill piece is angled to let the water fall away from the house. So what you need to have is, you can see it's, if you all have a look at this, the actual, you've got a piece here, that's angled, then it's stepped, then it's angled. You always have to make sure, when you're doing anything like this, it's always angling away from the building, not angling into the building, or it's not flat. Because this is the thing that keeps all the water. The water, if you have it, if you don't have it at an angle, the water will just lie in it. And the water lying on something, especially wood, no matter how well protected, will rot. Of all the things in the case, when we're replacing stuff, the actual front sill, this part here, that's what this is the bit, this is the front sill, it's easier to replace. And there is, I know there is a couple of front sills at the back that need to get replaced. So we'll be able to do that. We can replace the whole sill, but it's quite a big job and it's a case of taking everything out. On top of that, we've got the capping batten rod, or the top batten rod. And that usually, I don't know if this one is, this is all one piece, and it's all been machined as one piece, but it's usually separate, and it gets nailed in. We don't usually need to take that out, okay? That stays where it is. Then we've got these two bits, either side, and they're called batten rods. Okay? And we'll have one at the top as well, and it's called the top batten rod. And what that does is that gives us a profile. So it's a wee design profile. But it's, as you can see, it's totally round at this bit. See that? Why do you think it's totally round? What would be the reason for it to be round?
Aesthetics.
Aesthetics, it looks nice, doesn't it? It does. Right? There's another reason. Do you know any other reason? Actually,
something to do with water.
Nope. We want to take this out to get to these. See when we paint them, when the paint goes round there, the paint sits in there. If it was a flat piece, you wouldn't see the joints. So you would have to scrape all the paint off to see where the joint, and you'd have to then get this in, and you'd have to go like that. So that's what I do, right? So we've got that, and we're looking at it, we're taking it off nice and gently, as best we can, because we're trying to get it so it's, this is where my other piece comes in. So what I've used is I've used the thin piece to open it up, to split it away from the window. That one's already got a split in it, so we have to be very careful. Now, there is no guarantee in the world that you can actually get these out without damaging them. We do try the best we can to do it. So there we go, I've popped that comes out. Okay? See the old cut nails? Right, now, see what I said to you about the fact that when you paint it up, see the wee bit of paint that's built up there? If that had been flat, we would never have seen that. We'd never have been able to get that out without damaging it. So we go to the other side. Again, I use this to get my finger, just to see how easy that is. Oh, that's it, and I'm putting my hammer at an angle and I'm popping it. And I'm pulling it down. Now the other thing you'll notice, I'm going like that.
Keeping on the right side.
Keeping on the right side. Because there's no guarantee that the window is 100% the same size either side. But we know they fit. So what we've got is we've popped the pattern bead, the bandler. So we go back to this. This is the sash up like I've showed you downstairs. It's painted, but that's the pulley wheel there. So that goes over the top of the pulley wheel, inside the pulley wheel, and comes through.
So where's that drop down to?
I'll show you in a minute. So the top sash, I'll show you now. What we do is we pull that like that, and we go to where the back rod was. That loosens that. Okay? We get the nail, go up here, and go as high up as you can. It's not easy with this light. Start the nail. Pull it down where the back rod was. Now, why do you go for where the back rod is?
Thickest bit of wood.
No, you're not going to see the hole when we put the back rod back in. But I don't notice else. I don't drive these nails right in. I just leave them sticking out because again, this is only a temporary thing until we get the sash out. It's a two-man job usually to get the sash out. So I'm going to have a look to see what we've got here. I'm going to have a look to see what we've got here. More light on the matter. Right. So this one is done differently from a lot of places. This has got the knob. So this one's been knotted. See it? So you undo the knot as you can. So that's this cord out. Balance it on the other side. See if it's done the same way. It's done the same way. Go to the bottom. Try to get this out. They don't make it easy because when they cut the knot, right, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not very usual that you put the knots in them. Tend to just put the nails in them, which is as good a way as any. There we go. Right, so we take the sash out, put it over the side, out the road. Now, so what we've got is, that's has got, they're sitting out the road, that. We want to get into the weights. To get into the weights, we come across this middle section. And that middle section is called a parting bead. Not parting, button, partin, P-A-R-T-I-N, partin. Don't ask me why, I don't know why it's called that. What we want to do again is just loosen off the paint. That's it. See how it popped? So we're having to take that out, like that. And because there's a blind there as well, I said. So that's your parting bead. So again, you can see that bit there, slots in there. Okay?
It's quite a bit thinner than our batting rods.
It is. You get two sizes, we get three sizes, but two normal sizes. It's an old money, it's called 1/2 inch and 5/8, and new money, it's 12mm and 15 to 16mm. That's your 5/8, well that's actually a bit thicker than that, that's like 17mm that, probably, 18mm. But usually that's what they are. That comes out, that's it.
Is that a piece that's probably quite easy to get damaged in the...
That's it, on the removal.
Uh-huh.
On the removal I would expect 1 out of every 3 or 4 to get damaged.
Just because it's that wedged in.
It's painted up, you can see, top set, there's your top sash. Hardly any paint on that at all. And there's your bottom.
Yeah.
See the paint stuck to it? And it's the paint that holds everything. It's like, it can be like glue.
Yeah.
Right? But you can see why I'm saying is, the parting bead, the batting rod, they're not very well fixed. It's not like they're mechanically fixed. It's got a couple of nails in it. Sometimes this has got a couple of nails in it. We might have to put a couple of nails in it. It just depends on how it goes. And again, if you get it out without damaging it, you want to... Do you know what I mean?
In terms of you maybe getting called out to a job for fixing a window, what are the most common things to go wrong? The sash cord
the
is
sash
the
cord, these bits.
The most
these
common.
bits are the most common bits in a sash and case window because these are the things that stretch, people put paint on, the frayed. You can actually, that's thinner than that. If you have a look at that there, that's that bit there is thinner than that bit because it's been stretched. But that's the most common reason, and it's usually because, and it's, when I say it's the most common thing, it's not like to get to do the repairs to these windows, it's the same. You have to strip everything out to get them. Now, remember, so what we've got is we've got the top sash done, but it's painted shut. See it? And what you have to do is see that? We could not have done that without taking these out. There's no way we would have got that window moving. Now this is going to be the job we've got. We've got to get these windows moving up and down. Biggest problem you've got with a sash and case windows, the painter. Always the painter. The painter, but you see, when I take this window out your wall, you can start seeing up there. I've not even got the window out, you can see what the problem is. See it? They've not done us any favours doing that. So, again, process is the same. What we want to try and do is get the window down. This is quite a tight window. You can see that. See how frayed that is? So, we will be changing them at some time, if not today. Because there's no point. We would only replace the sash cord properly once we've. I will change the sash cord, but I won't attach it to the window because we've got to work on these windows later.
So see, like as you say, the painter's not done us any favours. When we come to doing paint work and things on this, is it best to paint it while it's all disassembled, let it dry, and then
put it together?
So we're not got this issue.
You could do the undercoat right down and then do the gloss. But when you do the gloss, what you want to do is you want to run the window up and down a couple of times. So, but what happens is, on this project, there's enough windows to do that. in a normal situation where it's just one window,
Window.
2 windows, a painter's not going to wait to the, between coats to make sure that the window's running up and down.
Yes,
So I'm not blaming, I'm blaming the painter, but I'm not blaming the painter. If that makes any sense. So again, I get my nail, I just go up as far as I can at the moment. Sash and case window, as I said, we've done the sashes, that's your bottom sash, that's your top sash. We've done the basics with the case, that's final. So these bits are called the pulley styles. They're called the pulley styles because though these are painted in, there's pulleys, the pulley wheels up here. Okay? And they're recessed into the timber, screwed in, and that gives it's basically a wheel. And that gives the wheel turns, and that means that there's no resistance for the window to go up and down with a rope. So inside, so that's the components for a case or a box is the sills, the pulley styles, the pulley head or the case head up there, and then what we've got here, see this bit here? That goes all the way flush with this section here, and that's called the inside facing. And that's flush, so when we put the bar rod on that, you don't see any joint. Okay? On the outside, see that there? See how that's sticking past? Sticking past. That's what the window hits against and prevents the window going right outside. So if we didn't have that, the window would just go poof. So that's called the outside facing, and it's got a second function. The second function is it goes against the stone work here and lets us have something to seal the window to the stone, and that prevents the water getting in past the window. If the dampness got in this, what it would do is just go down the bottom and it would cause real problems downstairs. In an old building, there are a couple of things that happen to old buildings. You'll have seen it in this job here especially. When water gets inside the building, it causes mayhem. It can cause dry rot, wet rot, dampness, and everything like that. Usually, the 3 areas that happens with is your roof, obviously, the gutters and downpipes, where the water's coming off the roof, onto the gutters, and then down the downpipes, and it's hitting the stonework. And what happens is, if the stonework gets saturated, and the word is saturated, stone's porous, and what happens is it actually pulls the dampness into the building. Right? And these builds, where though the wall's that wide, it's not, they're actually about that wide, because there's a lath and plaster there, and that is, all this stonework on the outside is just basically a facade, just facing stones, so they're about that thick, all the way up, and then they built an internal wall, random. I don't know if there's any areas that have got that random.
Along the left.
Here we go. Come here. You see it? So remember, it looks, see the random walls?
Yeah.
Right? Okay? Where all that outside is the lovely face stonework. Willie will explain it better than I can, but that's basically that's it. And what happens is inside that, they had a cavity and they just filled it with random stones. So it's like loose stones that goes in there, fills that up. And what the reason it's loose is when the dampness comes in that way, the idea of it is because it's all loose, there's nothing for the dampness to carry on through, and it's meant to just drop right through. But if the stonework is saturated, if there's that much water coming in, it will come in and it will go in and it will come down and it will affect the rest of the building. And it's the same with the windows. If you don't seal the windows on the outside, you'll get the weather coming in and it'll cause dampness. And the idea of a window, no matter how you look at it, is to give light but prevent dampness. So what we're doing is we're putting a protection, we're creating an opening to stop the cold and the water. Okay? So there's no point, so that's why they've given you an outside facing that you can actually see. It's not a great seal, but if you look down there, you'll see it. If you look over, put your head in, you can see what I've done. You can see, you can put your head right out, you know, before it. I see it between the stonework and the wood. If you put your finger down there, you can feel kind of a round. It's a seal.
Would that just be mastic, or would that be
It
something
should
different
be stone
tradition?
this should old stone mastic.
Yep.
A lot of people use silicon. It's a modern product. It does all right, but the problem with silicon is you can't paint. So once you've put silicon on, you can put over paint it, but the paint won't stick, and it does look a bit yucky. But if you do nice stone mastic with a trowel,
Yep.
it'll be a nice neat job. Okay. So we've done that. We've got the basics of your inside facing, outside facing. We've had a batten rod, we've had a parting bead, we've got a silk piece, we've got a head, we've got the pulleys, we've got the pulley style. But then we have to get into the weights. So what we do is try to get this off, which isn't one. This one isn't one from right. That's it. That's it. So did you all know that was there?
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's one on the other side, see it? Right, so that's it there.
A nice snug bit of wood, that.
Okay.
Snug fit.
I don't know how they did. They must have made them up separate from the actual window, right? Okay. So what they've done here, this is called the pocket. Okay? And that's your pocket hole. Okay? So I'll go to do this one first. I take the nail out and take, you notice I'm holding the weight. It can fall, but it's pretty messy when it does. That's not a nice thing to see.
So can you access both top sash weights
Yes,
and
from
bottoms
this pocket,
from
yes.
that one pocket?
So there we go, there's the weight.
Got a big weight.
Big chunky.
I've
Like.
never seen a weight like this in my life.
You didn't expect them to be
No, this is not a normal weight. I've never seen that. And why is it hinged like that?
We've got quite a few of them in the laundry as well.
Hinged like this? The reason you're hinged like this is normally, if I turn it that way, where it's not hinged, you have to feed that up through there, and sometimes the weight is longer than the pocket. So you're having to angle it and feed it up. With this, you can just go like that. So, though I've seen pictures of them, but I've never actually handled them before.
Well, and you've been doing this 30 years, so it's that.
I've seen other ones where what we do is we join them. We've got like bolts, so we can bolt them together. And what we sometimes have to do is unbolt them and take them out to get to the weights. So we put that one there because that's the bottom sash. Right. Now there's a divider here. So it stops the wind. That's meant to stop the weights clashing. Normally we use cast weights. That's a cast weight, and they're usually 50mm diameter. And because of the bolt, and this is why it's called the box sash, by the way. You'll see it now because inside this bit is a box. Right. Right. Oh, that's a great thing to see. Really good. Right. This lets me talk about the next thing I was going to talk about. Right.
Serendipitous.
Right. So, the weights. What's the purpose of the weights? To hold the window. To get the window sitting right, what we have to do is we have to weigh. Normally, I haven't got it with me. I have got scales, and they're luggage scales. You know, like your mum, what you would use? Hang on, I use them, tie it on, lift it up, and it gives me the weights. Okay? And what we do is you want them to, the weights to counterbalance the size of your sashes, your weights of the sashes. So, to make the bottom, the purpose of the bottom sash is to go up, right? And the purpose of the top sash is to come down. We'll concentrate on the top sash first. If the top sash weights, so if you weigh the top sash and it's 20 kilograms, you split that and you say the weights need to be 10 kilograms either side to balance the window. If you went 8 kilograms one side, 12 kilograms the other side, what you do is when you put the window up, the window would go like that. So you want to have them close to the same size either side. Then you have to think about it. If I get it slightly wrong, and the top sash is 20 kilos, and by the time I put all the weights, and I've gone through all this rigmarole taking the weights off, and when we put the weights on, you'll see the rigmarole we have to do to put the weights back in. If I put that up, and the weight is actually a bit too light, just by half a kilogram, there's a chance that window, top sash, with gravity, will just fall down. And if that's the case, you have to go through the whole thing again. So what we tend to do is add an extra bit of weight onto the weights. Because if there's extra weight there, it's pushing it down and it's keeping it up in place. And because it's only slight difference, because of the purpose of this outside facing and the parting bead, when you pull it down, it will stay where it is. Now, if it's far too heavy, you'll pull it down and it'll just go back up. So you're just wanting it to be slightly bigger. So what they've done is they've added that.
So I guess a lightweight.
That's a lightweight with a hole in it. And see, feel the difference? That's not that, but for the size of it, it makes a difference. So if you've, I'm not saying there is one on that side, but the chances are there's going to be one on that side as well. So what they've actually done is they've adjusted the weight of this to suit the bigger window. So they're making sure that the weights are heavier on the top sash to keep the top sash down. Which means, in theory, you want to keep the weights lighter for the other ones, so that, you know, it makes it easier to go up. Because if you make the, you know, they want to go heavier as well, sorry. So when you pull it up, you just catch it. But the bottom sash is never an issue, because the bottom sash is, we can adjust the batten rod to make sure the window's working right. Okay? But the weights, that's what the weights are there for, is to balance the window. Okay? So we've got those ones in. I'll just keep that one there, and I'll put that on top. So you can see that says 17 on it. And that means 17 pound. Because they wouldn't have had kilograms in those days. So that tells me that window's a 34 pound window. Without. And it's nice when the old sashes actually tell you the old weights tell you what weight they are. Because that means if you have to go and get replacement weights, you can go and get replacement weights. When we're taking these windows out, what we're creating is an aperture or an opening. And two things can happen when you do that. One, debris can fall out. So always make sure what's below. And I'm looking at that, and there's absolutely nobody going to be walking below nothing. If there is a chance that somebody's walking, you might have to go down and barrier that area off, right? So that nothing falls on top of anybody. That's pretty thing. Second thing is, look at the height I am. So if I overstretch, there's nothing to stop me falling. So what we have to be is very careful. And what I tend to do, and I'm only not doing it for this because of demonstration purposes, I usually get a piece of wood or a bit of plywood, and I cut it to that size, and I put it across there. And what that gives me is a barrier. Stops me going that way. So, because I'll have to get up on a pair of steps to get up there. So what I might have to do is go and get a wee piece of wood, just to put that across there, to stop, when I go up a pair of steps, to stop me falling out. So you would have to, remember what I said, when we're doing the doors, it's a process of risk assessment. You have to think what could happen if I'm working on a window 3 stories up, a lot of pedestrians walking below. What do we do? I would have to fill a risk assessment out for that. Right? So I have to fill out a risk assessment for most jobs. Right? But that one's running nice. You get the mouse and you just slip the mouse in, and you try to keep it the string. There we go. Right, so. For that, there we go. So there we go. So
Easy as that.
easy as that, right? I really should do that. My goodness, that's tight here.
That's
See how tight that was?
aye.
So I'm trying to get, there we go.
Wee wedge, aye.
Just to get it up.
Give me a position to stand and I'll move the world.
Now, this is where we have to worry. We hope, and it is a hope, that that will feed glue. Right. It does. And all this is taken off, like that.
Just a granny knot.
Just a granny knot. Doesn't need to be a slip knot or anything like that. I'm taking the excess off. And the reason I'm taking the excess off is I don't want anything to foul the weight when it goes up and down. We've got a thing from here to here, okay? So we want the rope to go about there. So we measure that there, okay? And that's about, say about 310, 300 from there. And we can work that out where that is. So that top of that sash will be the top of that. So that's it there. So it's where the paint line stops. So I'm going to measure down 300 there. And I'm going to measure down 300 from the paint line there. Down. Okay. Now, I'll feed this weight back in. Okay. Now, remembering how a sash and case window works, it's a counterbalance. So when this window's down, where's that weight? It's a counter, it's the opposite. So when that window's down, it goes up. So what we do is pull that up, and you'll hear it hitting the pulley, Now, what we could do at that point is mark that there on the line, bumble. But what happens is that might bottom out, what we call, or hit out. So the pulley itself will stop the way it's going up. So what we do is put it there, and bring it down a wee bit. Then mark it. Okay? Okay. Okay, and then I can get my nail. Somebody pass my hammer up to me, please. I'll just put it back up as far as it can go. Put that in there. Okay. Hold it there. That's my mark there. Get my chisel. That's it in there. Just double check that size. Aye, that's it there. Because we want it to go back up.